While Vesak, Sri Lanka's very own festival of lights, is celebrated widely, the festival itself shines across Asia with unique rituals. In Seoul, the 1,200-year-old Lotus Lantern Festival floods the streets with glowing dragons, lotus blooms, and giant sculptures. In Thailand, devotees circle temples in candlelit Vientiane, rivers of light flowing beneath the night sky. At Indonesia's Borobudur, lanterns rise beside ancient stupas in timeless beauty. And as we celebrate Vesak this week, happy Vesak and welcome to this week's Kaleidoscope with me, SavithriRodrigo. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Tasha Marikkar, Wasantha Namaskara, and headlines at a glance with CDB News in a blink. We stepped into Paradise Road Galleries recently, where Vasantha Namaskara's latest collection, Darshana, unfolded in a breathtaking sweep of mixed media canvases. I went to India and by chance began to meditate. This changed my whole perception, and that is what is seen in my paintings. From monumental works stretching over 2 meters to intimate studies on smaller frames, each piece carried us into a meditation on flux, change, and the transient nature of life. Everything is in flux. Change cannot be escaped or stilled. It can only be felt, observed, and understood. Vasantha's journey from the Vafa Academy to sociology and anthropology was shaped greatly by his first guru, Chandragupta Thenuara, and later by Shant Fernando, who took him under his wing, reflecting that each canvas is a living space, evolving with every gaze. From YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, Kaleidoscope brings you stories that matter. Subscribe, follow, and stay tuned. Don't miss a moment. And a heartfelt thank you to our partners who power us forward each week, Selinco Live, CDB, and The Daily Morning.
Introducing CDB Self, the digital wallet that makes life easy.
And now, this week in a flash with the headlines that matter on CDB News in a blink. Sri Lanka has record export earnings in the first 4 months of 2026, up 4.3% to $5.78 billion. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka raised policy interest rates by 100 basis points to 8.75% to protect macroeconomic stability amid rising Middle East tensions. Dialog becomes the most valuable listed company in terms of capitalization, overtaking John Keel's holdings. And here's your weekly market brief capturing key movements. The All Share Price Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued to be under pressure with renewed foreign selling. Fuel imports, Sri Lanka's biggest cost at 20% of the import bill, gets relief as oil prices fall to $92 per barrel. While gold, long volatile with policy shifts and trade tensions, trades at $4,500 per ounce, well below recent highs of $5,300 per ounce. Christian Mungu's Norway-set drama film Fjord wins the PalmeD'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Scientists discover a giant cloud of alcohol about 260,000 light years away from Earth.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Silingo Life.
Before it became a sizzling Nat Geo series, Jayaflava burst onto the scene as a bold, groundbreaking book, serving up heritage, spice, and stories with irresistible flair. What started on the page soon leapt onto the screen, blending fiery discoveries, hilarious behind-the-scenes adventures, and cultural treasures into one unforgettable journey. Today on Kaleidoscope Selinko Live Dialogues, we have the very heart and soul of Jayaflava, the vivacious storyteller bursting with life, laughter, and spice, infectious energy, and irresistible charm, Tasha Marikkar. So, very briefly, how did this title of Jayaflava come about?
I used to run music festival that I co-developed with my sister and my mother, and it was called Electric Peacock. And one of the artists who played there was a very famous DJ duo called house DJ duo called Basement Jacks, and I became very good friends with them. And actually, when I first started writing the book, I was sharing this with Felix from Basement Jacks, and then they ended up staying with me and for like a month in Sri Lanka whilst he was writing another piece, another album. And I was like, oh, I've come up with the name of my book. It's going to be The Encyclopedia of Sri Lankan Food. And he was like, what? That's such a terrible title. He was like, what are you thinking? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was, I think this was maybe, there was a sort of protest happening at the time. And he kept hearing the words Jayaleva. And he kept asking, what does Jayaveva mean? And I was like, victory, celebration. But it can also mean something politicians use quite decisively, And he was like, well, I think you should use the word Jayaveva. And together we came up with Jayaflava.
So, when you were writing the book, did you uncover any stories that were truly surprising to you that then translated into the series as well?
Maybe there were certain things that were sitting in my face the whole time that I didn't quite recognize, like a sambal. Like a sambal is definitely a sambal. And it came with Indonesian and Malays coming to Sri Lanka, and that dish developed from their community. And I just think that was one of the things. And then the lamprey. The lamprey was a real shocker for me. The fact that it's Aleppo, and that is also an Indonesian dish that they then put pork into and ham into, and then they put the fricadelles in. But essentially a widely consumed Indonesian dish.
Why are they writing or filming? Was there anything quirky, anything that weird that you came across as well?
In the Gangavadia, the local fishermen won't eat oysters because they think it's gross. And they will get other people to eat it, but they won't eat it because they think it's like a pond filter. And so the first time some of the people had ever eaten it was when we were filming. And I was like, no, try it. And they were like, no, we don't eat that. Just the insanity of kind of when you leave Colombo and then you've been on the road for about like a week or so and you come back and Colombo almost feels like a foreign land. I was just like, oh, what is this? Why in Singapore? It's not saying anything against the rest of the country. It's just that there's such a vast difference between the metropolis that is Colombo and the rest of the country.
So, if you had to explain Jayaflava to someone who's never tasted Sri Lankan food or has absolutely no experience of it, what quirky metaphor would you use or what would you tell them?
Jayaflava is a celebration of everything it needs to be Sri Lankan. The good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful. It's everything. And I think it's a very honest portrayal of Sri Lanka. And I think what I want it to be is something that, even if you've never come across Sri Lanka or you've never come across Sri Lanka food before, you could pick it up and deep dive into that world.
Is there also another book in the making?
So I had already written my second book. I've written the plan. I've written all the dishes. I've also written a third book where I know what I want in that. But books take a lot of planning and time, and you have to sit and when I first wrote my first book, I'm not kidding, I was a size 10. Right. And when I finished the book, I was a size 12, 14. Because you just cook repeat, cook, repeat, and you have to test. You have to test so much. There was a point where I would put to people on Facebook like, hey, I bought excess food who wants to come pick up Sri Lankan food from me. And in London, I had a lot of people doing that. So yeah, I feel like I got the books coming up. I just don't know. I think mainly by the end of this year, the second book should be done. So probably get published the year.
So check out the lights and festivities this week. We will see you again next week.